Hi friends! Today I want to talk to you about something that's quite personal to me, but I also think it's a very personal topic to a lot of you, and it's actually something we don't talk about, but I do believe this is the biggest killer of our souls and biggest killer of our joy. So I want to talk to you today about grief. And if you're a human being that has walked on this earth for a few years, I am pretty sure that you have experienced grief. And in this channel, we focus, of course, a lot about law of attraction and feeling good. But one thing I want to say is that you cannot feel good and you cannot attract good things if you have unprocessed grief or something that you try to sweep under the rug, something where you are not acknowledging to yourself that maybe there's something unprocessed that you still need to take care of. That's why I want to talk about this topic, because I feel like it is shameful to talk about grief. It is shameful to ask people about if they are grieving. It is shameful to talk about things we've been through that brought us pain. So what do? We pretend we're okay, we put a smile on our face, and then we go on marching into the world pretending everything is fine when sometimes we're just hurting inside. So I really thought it was important to address this issue, because your soul will die if you cannot process your grief, or if you don't address the grief that you perhaps have experienced. And I call those people walking dead, not like the movie, but they're really like semi-dead people walking the earth, because there's no sparkle in their eye. They allow the pain and unprocessed grief to kill the joy. So let's get into the topic. So I want to talk to you about my personal story with my grief and how I overcame it, and how I think perhaps I would love to help you to overcome your grief. But first you have to embrace it. You have to realize that embracing your grief is actually going to help you get rid of it. I know that's the huge misunderstanding, that we think that, if you pretend something doesn't exist, that we somehow make it go away. But no, if it's unaddressed, if you keep it inside of your heart, and if it keeps coming up, in sadness or in, memories of a loved one that you've lost, and it brings you up pain in you, it means you have not processed this grief. So I want to help you today, hopefully, and I will talk to you about how I overcame my grief and the stages of grief that I've been through, because I think one of the biggest one is numbness. Grief will make you numb, and when you are numb, you really cannot experience life in the best possible way. You cannot experience joy. You cannot even be excited about your life. So I want to talk to you about myself, and hopefully you will learn from this. So let's talk about what happened in the last 6 years. I have lost both my dad and my sister. It has been really rough because of my dad, even though he was sick, and we knew it was coming for 3 years when it actually happened. This was like the first it was like the closest person to me that died after my grandma, and it was very painful. But then when my sister died, and it was, short disease, nobody expected it. I know that for me, the first stage was shock, right? You are in total shock. Like, I remember feeling like I'm going to faint. Like, I just totally didn't understand. I felt like the reality around me just shifted, and I felt like I've entered a twilight zone. Like, I thought I didn't understand what's happening. This cannot be happening. Then I went into anger. Anger is another stage of grief where you just feel like, for me, it was like I should have done more. I should have, talked to my sister more. I should have, maybe forced her to go to see a doctor, even though I tried and she didn't listen. So there's this anger. And then I think after this, I kind of became depressed, if I'm honest with you. For a few months, I was just like, the world didn't make sense. And if the world doesn't make sense to us, then what do? We think it's a little bit of depressing, right? And And from the little depression, you will go into numbness, where you just feel kind of numb because you are tired of crying. You don't want to cry anymore. So you become numb, right? And the numbness is what really just makes you not even excited about the things that made you excited before. And it really takes embracing it and being honest with yourself. Like, yes, I am sad. Yes, I lost a family member. Yes, I have grief that I have to process. And it is okay to talk about it, and it is okay to deal with it, right? So for me, after this was, once I had to acknowledge it, that's what I call, like, after numbness, you have to get to the point where you're just sick of it. Like, you just cannot live like this. You cannot be in this limbo where you just feel like nothing brings you joy, but then also like you just feel like you feel numb even to the sad things because it's just too much to deal with. So you actually have to acknowledge it. For me, a big step was acknowledging the fact that I was very sad about passing of my sister and my dad, and that I had to deal with that. We had to deal with that. And part of my dealing with this, the recognition of the grief, was that, and I'm sorry guys if I'm rambling, but I really want to talk about this topic because I think especially in the love attraction movement, people just pretend it doesn't exist and pretend that we are not human beings walking on earth and losing people to death or weird circumstances, right? So after recognition, I started to heal myself. And I will tell you what really helped me heal is that first I had to allow myself to cry. And some of us don't do that enough. But I allowed myself to cry. I allowed myself to process the sadness. And I did get, a few therapy sessions, not so many, maybe once a month, but just somebody that can just fine tune you, right? Like, sometimes you have emotions that you can't process, and for me, I had therapy sessions, in the beginning, maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, and then it went to like every month, every 2 months, but just more of a fine tuning. And I think it is very important that you do this if you're grieving the loss of a loved ones. And then the healing part is just also meditation and just realization, and do what you need to find peace, whatever it is that you need to do. I'm not telling you to go to mediums, some people do it, others don't. Some people believe in that, some others don't. But in my trying to understand what happened with my sister, I can tell you honestly, because I want to be here as honest as possible, is that I did go to see a medium, and it was quite uncanny, the details she told me, and the people on the other side, like my grandma and my dad. And it did make me believe that, perhaps there's something after this earthly life, and it helped me find peace. So I'm here to tell you that this channel is dedicated to feeling good, being happy, and being joyous. But I will say that you cannot be fully joyous, you cannot fully enjoy your life and be happy about the future if you have unprocessed grief. So it's almost like you have to take care, clean out the room, right? You cannot just bring in new furniture and flowers into the dirty room. You have to clean out your room first. Part of the cleaning out of the room is dealing with the unprocessed feelings. And I do think that if you can deal with it, embrace your pain, deal with it, find healing, and find peace in feeling grief, because that is just part of the human experience, and only then you can find joy. I hope that video helped someone. I don't know why I was drawn to talk about this today, because I don't want to be a Pollyanna, and I don't want to be talking about, everything is, la la land, everything is perfect and happy, and let's just be happy and pretend that nothing bad happened. No, we are part of human race. We go through things. Sometimes we deal with death, which is part of human experience, and that is processing in the correct way will eventually like help you be happier. So I hope it helped someone today. It was really my intent just to talk to you about it. Whoever is suffering right now, I'm sending love your way, and I'm sending you best wishes for quick emotional recovery from whatever it is you've been through. And I just hope really truly that this video helps someone, and just know that you are not alone. And I hope you to see in my next video. We really just want to find true happiness. This channel is all about finding true happiness, and you cannot find true happiness if you don't deal with your grief. So deal with your grief, process it, and hope to see you soon in my next video. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye.